lot of speed.
He warming up.
We're
now.
sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some
I know
8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm gonna beat your ass, and I'm gonna beat Jaden Love it. On my mama, I'm gonna beat both of y'all ass. On my mama. And he laughing. He laughing.
Our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
You know what I mean? I was misinformed. You know, you gotta know what somebody's going through, man, or have gone through, and where they've ended up. Now, you have to understand that. You gotta understand their DNA, you know. And we as fans, we fail to realize that. We as commentators and fanboys and all that, like, we all don't do.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis fired back after seeing Jake Paul sparring with Shakur Stevenson in preparation for their upcoming fight. Tank dismissed the move, saying Jake can train however he likes, but it won't change the outcome. He promised to unleash his real power on fight night and punish Paul in the ring, making it clear that no amount of sparring or warm-up will save him once they finally square off.
No, don't worry about it. I don't gotta sit up here. Let anything happen, and I'm gonna show you and him that.
And it begs the question, Tank.
Boxing analysts have pointed out the irony surrounding the Jake Paul versus Gervonta "Tank" Davis fight. While many fans and purists criticize Tank for taking the matchup, others see it as an opportunity with clear promotional and personal benefits. Shakur Stevenson emphasized this tension, noting that although Tank's choice may frustrate traditional boxing fans, he still agreed to spar with Jake Paul to stay active in the conversation and support the sport's visibility. The situation highlights how modern boxing often balances business interests, personal reputation, and fan expectations.
Criticism for fighting Jake Paul, but yet at the same time, he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul. Spar Jake Paul for the Tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap. Because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So, do I think that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight, and then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million? And he said, I'd be fighting Jake Paul.
Analysts suggest that Gervonta "Tank" Davis is now driven more by financial incentives than by legacy when choosing his fights. His upcoming clash with Jake Paul has fueled this perception, with many believing Tank is prioritizing the payday over competitive prestige. Critics argue that if fans truly want to see him in the ring against elite opponents like Shakur Stevenson or Lamont Roach, promoter Turk would have to present him with the kind of massive offer seen in blockbuster bouts, such as Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. At this stage of his career, Tank appears to be guided less by the pursuit of glory and more by the pursuit of money.
Look at how Tank started acting after he made $40 million with Ryan. When he make another $40+ million with Jake,
he's gonna go make $40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Roach for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Cause that's the thing. You do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it. You want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that Canelo money.
Shakur Stevenson, one of boxing's most respected voices, didn't hold back his disappointment after Gervonta "Tank" Davis chose to fight Jake Paul instead of stepping into the ring with him. Stevenson suggested that Tank's decision looks like a ducking tactic, something he views as disrespectful to the sport. He stressed that real fighters embrace tough challenges, and by picking a crossover star over a proven elite competitor, Tank risks damaging the integrity of boxing. Stevenson's remarks have only intensified the debate about Tank's true priorities and whether financial gain has now outweighed sporting honor in his career.
What do you think about the rumors that Tank and Jake might play?
Man, Tank, disrespectful to the sport if he chooses that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. So I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis fired back at fans questioning whether he's ducking top names like Shakur Stevenson. He made it clear that public opinion means little to him, pointing out that fans often turn on fighters after just one bad night. Tank stressed that his priorities lie with his own career and personal goals, not with trying to please critics or chase validation. His response highlights an unapologetic mindset, one that shows he intends to stay in control of his decisions and fight path, regardless of outside pressure.
Gervonta, a lot of boxing fans aren't happy with the fact you've taken this fight rather than the Rhodes rematch, fights with the likes of Shakur, Devin Haney, Teofimo, etc. What do you make of that reaction? Can we still expect to see those fights?
Why should I care what they think? When y'all switch somebody can have a bad day and y'all switching on who y'all favorite fighter is or who this person is supposed to fight. Like y'all need to sit back and be fans and just enjoy the sport. Like y'all even talk about people's personal lives. Like why when it come to that?
Michael Jai White added his perspective to the debate, making it clear that Jake Paul, no matter the hype or how he performs, can never be regarded as a true boxing champion. He stressed the difference between exhibition or crossover bouts and officially sanctioned championship fights under major boxing bodies. White's comments echo the wider sentiment among many fighters and purists who view Paul's ventures as entertainment spectacles rather than tests of real championship pedigree, further fueling skepticism about the legitimacy of the matchup.
Do you think that Jake Paul could win a legitimate boxing title?
No, no, because he's so far behind someone of his equal age who's been doing it for a very long time. He started very late. That's why I applaud exactly what he's doing. I think he should be doing exactly what he's doing. If he fought a legitimate, top 10 cruiserweight, I will shut the f up. If he's able to fight an actual contender of the top 10, that would be astonishing if he can get to that point. If he beat anybody in the top 10, that would be, to me, the greatest thing he's ever accomplished.
Yeah, because historically he's fought old men.
I think he's done it the right way because there's a possibility where a 50-year-old Anderson Silva might be able to beat him. Who thought he was going to beat Tyson? I really thought, oh, Tyson's just going to go to the body and just punish his body because I thought that that's what would win him thing, but he did not do that. I think it makes for a good matchup. He's made for great spectacle.
Daniel Cormier, former champion and respected analyst, took aim at the upcoming Jake Paul versus Gervonta "Tank" Davis fight, calling it dull and lacking in entertainment value. He argued that Tank isn't fighting out of financial need, and at this point in his career, fans expect him to take on higher-level competition. By labeling the matchup a boring contest, Cormier questioned its purpose and appeal, suggesting it's designed more to generate curiosity and social media buzz than to uphold or advance boxing's competitive standards.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why
He's been a world
taking
champion so recently. How can he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why? And how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis' last fight was at 136 pounds.
Commentator Show Eyes the Adult noted that, despite the unusual nature of the matchup, public curiosity alone will likely drive massive viewership for Gervonta Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. However, Tank's recent hints about possibly stepping away from boxing have fueled uncertainty about whether the fight will actually happen. Adding to the drama, his ongoing back and forth with Shakur Stevenson on social media platforms like X has only intensified speculation, with both fighters trading sharp words and questioning each other's skills. This mix of tension, unpredictability, and spectacle continues to blur the line between pure competition and entertainment in boxing.
Do we think the fight is ridiculous between you and Jake Paul? Yes. Are we going to watch it? Yeah. Do we like it? Maybe. Maybe. And let me tell you why it's maybe, why it's not no, why it's not yes. It's maybe because many of us, we just don't believe it. We just don't believe the fight is real. We know it's an exhibition, but we just don't believe that you two are going to try to take each other's heads off. Other than that, it's kind of interesting. You have a 5'5" lightweight versus a heavyweight Jake Paul, who's really not a boxer with an amateur background and all that shit, but he's been knocking people out. It's kind of interesting if we knew y'all were trying to knock each other's head off. And we don't know that because Mike Tyson did knock out Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Rock Logan Paul, that kept him standing. That shit, we getting tired of that shit, right? We need confidence. Are you guys going to try to knock each other's heads off? Jake Paul, when you swing at Tank, are you going to try to hit him and knock that little man over the top rope into the damn fifth aisle? Are you going to try to hit him and make his ass evaporate? Or Tank, are you going to show the world that Jake Paul should not be in a square circle with a real boy? Are you going to try to knock his ass out, sleep him, drop him like you did Ryan Garcia, stop him the way you did Mario Barrios, knock him out like you did Leon Santa Cruz? Are we going to get a viral knockout, or are y'all going to try to stop each other?
Teofimo Lopez, a top professional boxer, weighed in on the matchup by framing it as more of an exhibition than a true sporting contest. He suggested that the fight should be seen primarily as entertainment, not as a battle for boxing legitimacy. Lopez highlighted the clear difference between traditional championship bouts and crossover spectacles, pointing out that Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis falls into the latter category. His comments echo the growing sentiment that modern boxing often leans towards showmanship and media buzz rather than pure competitive excellence.
Great fight, great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun, it makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about. You know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless. It doesn't count.
Doesn't count? Yeah. We need to see you and Tank though. It has to happen. It has to happen, you and Tank.
We'll see, man. It's up to the champ. He's the champ, right? He's a celebrity champ. Ooh.
Tim Bradley, the former world champion, shed light on the personal and professional pressures Gervonta Tank Davis is facing outside the ring. He urged critics to recognize the mental and physical toll that comes with being in the spotlight before rushing to judgment. Bradley noted that Tank has dealt with major challenges recently, and the nonstop scrutiny from fans, media, and analysts only adds to the burden. His remarks serve as a reminder that fighters endure immense stress, and acknowledging these circumstances can lead to a more balanced and respectful conversation about their career decisions.
A tank, you know what I mean? I was misinformed. You know, you gotta know what somebody's going through, man, or have gone through, and where they've ended up. Now, you have to understand that. You gotta understand their DNA, you know. And we as fans, we fail to realize that. We as commentators and fanboys and all that, like, we all don't do that. We don't do our research. You know, you gotta know about somebody's history. So, like, if you understand where Tank came from, if you understand his background, then you understand how he thinks and why he feels the way he feels. You know, you do. So, I mean, for instance, like his parents, right? His parents were drug addicts, in and out of the system, in and out of jail. You know, he lived with his grandmother. You know, like, you gotta understand when he started boxing, why he started boxing. Understand that, you know, that what the influence that Calvin has had on his life, and how if their relationship isn't great, how that affects him. And if this is not making any excuses, people, this isn't. I'm not making no excuses. I'm just giving you what I think, and I'm giving you the facts surrounding all of this. You know, I remember back in 2012. You know, I'm living right. I'm living civil. I'm taking care of my business. I feel like I'm doing everything right.
Analysts continue to debate the broader implications of the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis matchup. While the fight promises massive attention and financial rewards, many argue it does little to strengthen boxing's credibility. Critics note that Paul's formula of targeting high-profile opponents with clear size or skill disparities generates intrigue, but risks eroding traditional competitive standards. Observers suggest that although the fight will undoubtedly draw viewers, it could also detract from the legitimacy and professionalism expected by purists. Experts highlight how Paul deliberately chooses opponents to maximize hype, with Tank Davis being the latest example of this strategy. The significant weight difference between the two only fuels curiosity. Will Tank's power translate, or can Paul shock the audience? Ultimately, this calculated approach guarantees strong viewership, media buzz, and engagement, showcasing Paul's business-savvy mindset. At the same time, it underscores how entertainment-driven motivations increasingly shape modern boxing promotions, blurring the line between spectacle and sport.
Why are you not fighting guys your own fucking size? Look at this, John. This is embarrassing. And not to mention, Georgia already said, no, you can't have this fight here. So they moved it somewhere else. Dave, do you know where they moved the fight? Can you look it up? This is embarrassing. Look, he actually put his hands on his knees, and he was still the same height, maybe a little bit taller than Gervonta Davis. I mean, I'm all in on Gervonta. I want Gervonta to win this fight. I want him to hit. I mean, I'm not saying he can knock him out, but I think if he hits him to the body a couple times, John, he may be able to catch him. Lazy jab or something, you know, he might be able to pop him to the body and get him good. I'm hoping. Jake Paul down with a body shot.
Oh, man.
Oh, geez.
Could you imagine?
I would it'd be great.
It's a win right there.
It'd be.
Commentators noted that during the face-off, Gervonta Tank Davis looked noticeably smaller than Jake Paul, a visual contrast some even called embarrassing. However, analysts were quick to remind fans that size alone doesn't determine the outcome of a fight. Tank's superior skill, speed, and experience in the ring put him on a level that Paul will struggle to match. His agility, precision, and technical mastery make him the more complete fighter, proving that appearances at promotional events can be misleading, and that the real story will be told once the bell rings.
And I think that the one thing that Jake Paul is really going to have to try to figure out in this fight is, how do I catch this little son of a bitch? Because he's fast. And, you know, Gervonta, I would, you know, I'm not telling Gervonta Davis to, you know, cut down and weight like he normally does. Just get in shape. Whatever you weigh, you weigh. Don't try to add weight. There's not enough time for you to add good weight that's not going to make you tighter or anything like that. So just come in at your normal, walk around, good weight. You've been training hard, whatever it is, because they've said 195 is the max that.
That's all for today's video. Stay locked in for more updates, and I'll catch you next time.